Welcome to the first part about how to build the e-help from Meij-tech by using the two different kit that you can buy for these. So today first we're gonna talk about the battery box that also are the mount for the tail boom and the main switch. And the first part of the tail boom is 26-inch long, and that's to the folding device, and then it's further on, so you need two pieces of carbon that are 40 millimeter outside and 37 millimeter inside to fit the kit. The speed controller and the electronic box are on the video mounted on carbon plates, but now it's aluminum plates instead, much more stable. And you may have to re-drill it to fit your speed control, and the electronic box you just mount with velcro tape. And you also see I use the velcro tape in the bottom of the battery box to make the batteries sitting still and stable. The carbon tube is out of the block a little bit, some millimeters, just to make sure that everything is bulletproof. And the bolts that are holding the mounting blocks and the aluminum plates are 1/4 inch measurement on. And you see I have made them a little bit longer, the plates, because here I got the mounting screw just going into the plastic block, and you don't want to hurt that or the carbon tube in any way, so make sure you make a great mount. But the speed controller is getting hot, the electronics box is not getting hot, so the velcro is working great for the electronic box. And you also see on the video there that the switch is now on the top. On my prototype here I had it on the side mount, but that is a little bit tight to the battery. And the batteries are also secured by the velcro straps that goes under the boom and around the battery box. The good thing with the electronic box and the speed controller that are opto, so you don't need to put on the main switch to check the speed controller and the mouth speed control thing to see that everything is okay. Simple and good. And over that I have redesigned a simple lipo bag and mount that with pop rivets, but please do that the opposite way. Mount them from the inside, so you have a flat inside on the battery box, so nothing can hurt the batteries in any way. We want it flat on the inside there. And also the 5 millimeter screws from the main switch, make sure that they are cut to the length that are flat to the battery box inside. And I have done threads in the aluminium there to keep the battery, the power switch in place. Simple and good. And you see this is the back part of the battery box, and this is the front part. And here you have this 10 millimeter tube that are used to connect the battery, the full tail boom, everything to your harness by using the connector plate that you are going to mount on the harness later on. But this 10 millimeter tube is 8 millimeter inside, and I have glued in bolts in each end of the aluminium tube here. On one side I have grind it to be like an arrow point, and the other side you have the head there, and they are 40 millimeters inside the the tube in each end. Just use quick epoxy. And you see I have drilled the hole for the locking ring there, not only in the bolt but also through the aluminium tube to make it secure and safe. And also, by learning the hard way, I have secured the locking ring with a little piece of rope there, so you don't drop it down in the grass when you mount or dismount these from the harness. The connectors are good for these kind of amps and voltage we are going to use. And QS8S, I think the name on them. You will see more about that in part 4 of this video, how to get it together. And you see I use, the male part on the cabling and the female part on the batteries. And all the cabling are like 10 millimeters square of the copper wire, gauge 8, I think it's the American way to call it. If you try to go thinner, it's going to be warm, so you want the power to be in the motor, not in the heating system, so to say. And it's simple, it's serial connecting the batteries, and then further on to the main switch, and from that to the speed controller. And in the main switch I have soldered on connectors on the cable there to fit the main switch. You will see more of that in part 4 too. Simple and good. And here you see I have used this kind of sock outside the cabling between the electronic box and the speed controller, and also a bigger size of it from the speed controller further on to the back to the motor, just to make everything safe and nice. And of course on the speed controller I have the original fan on there too, great on warm days to keep everything cool and okay. So that's the battery box, the boom connectors, and the mounting plates for the electronic box and the speed controller. And you see the folding device there, and then we have a piece of tube, carbon tube to the legs and the motor mount. See you in part 2.